David Frum is a writer at The Atlantic. Now, David Frum styles himself, if you will, as somewhat of an intellectual. Yes, LOL. Somewhat of an intellectual. And so he recently wrote a piece exploring the idea of vaccine mandates and COVID in general. And I will not bore you, nor will I sport with your intelligence to read you the entire tweet thread, but I do want to pull one particular tweet from David Frum because, as I said, he styles himself as an intellectual, as a thought leader. Whether or not that's true, I'll leave you to decide. But this is what he tweeted about COVID-19 and government policies related to COVID-19 moving forward. If we could show that on the screen, this is what he says. Seems the best option is, number one, keep encouraging vaccines and boosters. 2, impose vaccine mandates where it can be done. 3, otherwise return to normal as fully as we can, especially the schools. And 4, let hospitals quietly triage emergency care to serve the unvaccinated last. Let hospitals quietly triage emergency care to serve the unvaccinated last. This is what the radical left is suggesting. And what they mean is based on the choices you make for your body, the health decisions that you and your family find best, maybe your religious beliefs even, your political ideology, they want you to be sent to the back of the healthcare line. These are the people who said healthcare is a right. But only, I guess, if you toe the radical leftist ideology. So I have a couple of thoughts on this. My top 2 thoughts are this. Number 1, can you imagine if 30 years ago, HIV/AIDS patients were sent, quietly triaged to be treated last at emergency rooms because they chose to engage in risky sexual behavior, which led to them contracting HIV? Liberals would be outraged, and rightly so, because that would be wrong. I mean, one of the things about healthcare is healthcare serves people, not ideologies. Healthcare serves people based on the severity. An emergency room, for example, that's the idea of triage, serves people based on the severity of the problem that they're facing, the issue, the emergency that they're facing, healthcare that they need, not based on their politics or who they know or their ideology. So imagine for a second how Democrats would react if we began to triage people whose behavior led to their healthcare condition. Now, you can find a million examples of this. I mean, what about overweight people? We have an epidemic of obesity in our country. Are fat people in emergency rooms supposed to be, sent to the back of the line because their diabetes, their heart disease, their stroke was caused by their choice to, eat a box of Ho-Hos and a bunch of pizzas every single day, donuts for breakfast, no vegetables, no exercise? I mean, that's a specific lifestyle choice that has led to their medical emergency. It could have been avoided had they made different decisions. Is that okay to do? Of course not. It's gross. It's immoral. It's not just obesity. What about people with lung cancer? If they come to the hospital and they're having a hard time breathing because their cancer is advanced, are they supposed to be quietly triaged to be treated last because they chose to smoke their entire life? No, that's not how the healthcare system works. And if this is what liberals want our healthcare system to be, then we need to reject every liberal who has any kind of power in determining what our healthcare system is. But this is my second point. My second point is what I just described is government-run healthcare. This is Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All. This is Obamacare on steroids. This is a single-payer option. This is what happens when bureaucrats in politics are the ones determining whether or not you deserve healthcare and whether or not they want to pay for it. This is the danger with the idea of so-called free healthcare, because it's no longer a decision between you and your family or your doctor. It's now in a politician's hands. And is there a single politician that you can honestly say to yourself, not out loud, not on social media, but to yourself, that you would want that politician making a healthcare decision for you or your child or your spouse versus you making that for yourself or your child or your spouse? Because there's not a single politician alive who I want to make healthcare decisions for me or my husband or my baby. I want to do that myself in consultation with my husband and my family and my healthcare providers. But this is what government-run healthcare will do. And Democrats are already being open about how they want ideology and politics to play into the decision-making process of if you deserve to have healthcare and who will pay for it.